Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa McAllister, and you're listening to The Melissa Made Show. Now, for decades, I've dedicated myself to helping women break the cycle of dieting, navigate through all the fads, and change their lives through my nutrition coaching. Now, each week, I'm going to talk about everything from deep nutrition, mindset, self-care, the ideal workout routine, tips on how and why to implement intermittent fasting in your life, my favorite recipes that are not only crowd pleasers, but they're actually healthy for you, and so much more. Now, with small and consistent changes, you can defy aging while living a happier, healthier, and more heart-filled life. I'm so excited to show you it's possible with the right strategies that are so simple to adopt. All right, you guys. So I had a special guest for this particular podcast, as you can see, and he's my friend. And we just started talking. I pushed record and we started talking. And so I didn't give him a proper introduction, which I'm going to do here. But I also want you to know that, of course, when Mike and I talk, we can talk for hours. And so this is going to be, again, part one of a two-part series. So this is part one. But let me go ahead and give him a great introduction because he deserves it. I don't think a lot of people know the accolades that he has before we get going, because we just start talking in the podcast. So keep in mind that Mike Karpenko is a transformational fitness coach and international fitness professional who has helped thousands of people around the world learn how to succeed in living a healthy life. So for more than 20 years, Mike has trained and coached actors, athletes, musicians, business executives, CEOs, military personnel, and people from all walks of life function at their very best. So he specializes in functional training, strength and conditioning, and athletic performance. He also combines mindset and nutrition guidance. Mike has served as an expert consultant on several globally successful and award-winning fitness and training products like Tap Out. You've heard of that, right? Xbox, and of course, even Beachbody, or what is called Body Now. So he's been featured on Dr. Oz and many television shows like Home Shopping Network, both in the US and internationally, and on various radio and podcast broadcasts, sharing his tried and true programming, along with leading edge techniques with a worldwide audience through his social media account. And of course, he's one of my very close friends. So here's part one of the interview with Mike Karpenko.
But I'll just back it up. When you first came on, when you first sent me the message and said, "Hey, Mike, I want you to answer a bunch of questions," and I was like, "Well, here you've got Melissa, the nutrition expert, the person who's dedicated her life to nutrition and ingestion of food, right? Whether it's minerals, supplements, quality food, organic, whatever it may be." And that's like, oh, you got Mike, who doesn't live by this crazy nutrition world, but I live in a crazy fitness world. I'm on we're in a seesaw. And somehow you and I we meet in the middle, which is kind of the fun relationship that we have inside of a work relationship. But I started to think about it and I'm like, we're brother, sister.
Yeah.
Fitness nutrition is a brother-sister relationship. And when you have two siblings that coexist, they've got to share certain patterns that happen, right? Like when you start your nutrition, people, and I start a fitness person, who wants to up their fitness, I'm like, all we need to do is restrict. All we need to do is cut back.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's like, hey, the first step, well, back it up 1 second. I think the first step really is acknowledging that your sister exists.
Yes. Amen.
Okay. So if you don't acknowledge that your sister, your family member exists and that you got to have a relationship with her or him, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And the fact that you are going to be better because you are siblings, it's a big issue. So acknowledging that is one. And then the next acknowledge piece really is, where are you? Where really are you at? Like, are you at 40% body percent fat? Are you at 20? Have you been working out 3, 5, 6 days a week, or have you not been working out for 2 years?
Right.
there's an honesty conversation. And I think that that's probably the same type of conversation that you have in your one-on-ones and your assessments. Are you ready to hear where you're really at? And are you ready to accept where you're at? Because everybody I've always worked with and everybody that's a customer, everybody out there, you know what they want? Overnight results. I don't care where I'm at. I just know all I care about is where I'm going.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that doesn't count here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, we've got to acknowledge your ability, your capability, and then we've got to build upon it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And most people, like when they begin their health and fitness journey, are not in that first stage of, I got to acknowledge. Because if they can be stripped down and acknowledge and be fair to themselves, not to me, I don't care if you're fair to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really don't, like,
yeah,
because I don't have to do the work.
Yeah.
So when you said that, I was like, well, it's like really just having people acknowledge, are you at 40% body weight fat? Are you at, 30? Are you at 20? Are you at high teens? Are you at low teens? And then what's the goal?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when I look at fitness and we dive into some questions here, I'm like, if you're at 40%, I need you to take you to 35%. I don't need to take you to 12.
Right.
And what can I do? I can change a few things. I can cut back a few things to get you to 35. I can add a few things to get you to 35. And then from 35, I can get you to 30. And from 30 to 25. And then when you look at that, you can say, when people see that, they also see the fact that the patterns that they were doing at 40, some of them have got to change in order to get to 35.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 3 images in your head, right? There's the image of you at 40%. There's the image of you that you want to get to 35. And then there's the image of you that wants to get to whatever the goal percentage body fat that it is, or ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, those are 3 different identities that happen. And each time you're going to relieve some of the identity of the person before and create new for the person that's there, but still bringing along some of the old.
Right.
There is no way you can change who you are overnight and just be like, that's why people get fail, right? Like, can you imagine giving me, and you've given me nutrition plans, like, Mike, you got to be on all these supplements, you got to be on this nutrition plan, you got to do this workout, you got to show up at 6 a.m. Yeah. And I would be like, hey, Melissa, not having it. So I think that that's part of when people start to begin to look at their fitness. And I think the industry has done a disservice, but they pushed into pain and pleasure very well. And be like, oh, I can take you from here to here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, no, really, you can't.
Yeah.
There's a top 2% that do it, right? Like, you could give me, I'm a restrictive guy, so I can go on like this place of like, hey, Mike, go in this plan.
Me too.
And I can get there, but I don't have the patterns to maintain. I know nothing. I knew how I got there. I don't know how to keep it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to, to be that, to have that identity on a continuous basis. So I think when you gradually go through the process and set people up for the expectation of, it's not happening overnight. It's not happening in 21 days. It's not happening in 6 weeks. It's not happening in 40 weeks. It's happening because it's a management of your health over time for you to create patterns to be the person that you want to be able to do. And patterns don't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm. They really don't. And I, just yesterday I did 2 discovery calls, and both of the women in their part of the questionnaire I had them fill out was what, if I could have you just flick a magic wand and we could work on, one thing, or you could see results one way, just magic wand, what would it be? And both of them said that they would want to see results faster. So I think it's very common, especially in today's in-your-face world, that we are expecting to see results when it comes to transforming your health quite quickly. And even if you can see those results quickly, usually you can't keep them, because the quicker that you make that change, the faster you realize that that's not sustainable, and it wasn't enjoyable, and it was too hard, and you feel like you're missing out on things. And so that's a hard talk that we always have to have.
It's a pain pleasure equation, right? Like, literally the whole business life is based on pain and pleasure. And when you look at, they're like, oh, is there things that could get you to your goal faster, quicker? Sure. semaglutide, like all the things, restrictions, all the crazy things, the high risk things,
Yep.
can you get there? Yeah. And they're like, that's my pleasure, getting there quicker, right? I have no pain to get there. So therefore I experience pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
But the pain now exists at keeping it.
Yeah.
So the pain never goes away. And it's how are you going to manage your pain against where you ultimately want to be with pleasure? Because you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with the pain now because it's a challenge, it's a struggle, an obstacle, against, oh, I'll deal with it when I get the pain, the struggle, the obstacle. And then they can't because they have no patterns, no ability, no habits, no knowledge, no nothing, no muscle mass, no strength. And they
Mm-hmm.
go, oh, so this was the pain you were talking about before. Now I have to deal with it. Isn't there a pain to help me make patterns? No,
Nope.
there isn't.
Yeah. Right.
So it's really having people acknowledge that they got to be uncomfortable and they've got to deal with some of this pain.
Yeah.
And they've got to be able to understand that in order to really change and grow is that you've got to get through the challenge. Because we can talk about with fitness, but as you stress yourself, stress a muscle, it grows.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if you didn't stress your butt, your glutes, guess what? It won't grow. I don't care how often you work it out.
Yeah. I'm trying to stress my butt. I have been for years. So this episode came about because I did have, I was telling you, Mike, before this, that I have so many female clients that come to me, and fitness is one of their top questions. They're so confused because of the way that it's put out there. We were sharing beforehand that just like nutrition, fitness has, you've got these people that are very devout in the way that they do their fitness, and that's the best way and the only way. And so you've got someone who's new to fitness or trying to relearn it, watching this one person, and then on the opposite end of the scale, there's literally someone saying the exact opposite. And so it's the analysis paralysis, and they feel so lost because they just feel so many different things, and they start something and then they'll watch or learn from a friend. Oh my gosh, my trainer says that's the worst thing that you can do to build muscle and stuff. And so they get super confused. And even I do. I mean, I sent Mike, a text. I don't know. It's probably 3-4 weeks ago now, because I was confused because it was talking about, how to, strength train, and the best way to get the most bang for your buck with strength training when it comes to body parts, when it comes to reps, when it comes to sets. And I got completely lost. I'm like, Mike, help me understand this. So, fitness, in my intro, you guys heard me talk about, Mike and his accolades, but he's been around the block. And even with me being a master trainer for 24-hour fitness, and then for Beachbody, I was certified in everything as well, but still I get so confused. And so I just wanted to have an honest conversation with you because, number one, I always tell you this, you just have a way with words. I know Mick needs to hear something level-headed, or even both of my kids. Mike's the first person that I want them to sit down and talk to. And he knows this. He's got a way of giving you the tough love that you need, but not just giving you tough love, but also giving you solutions, giving you ideas. He's just full of ideas. So he's not only really good in fitness, but he's also quite the mindset and the business mentor as well. I'll quit bragging on you for a second. Just
it's uncomfortable at this point.
I know, but I could go on and on and on. Mike is a dear, dear friend. That can we just kind of start almost with the text that I sent you? Generally speaking, when strength training is important. So let's just start with strength training right now. What is a good rule of thumb for body parts, reps, sets, weight, all that kind of stuff? When you're just speaking to, the average pretty healthy person, whether it be male or female, what are we looking to get after week after week?
Okay. The first thing I would say is this, like, it's all going to be dependent on where anybody's at. But I think you've kind of explained, somebody who's already in the, doing it. The three things I will always say: consistency builds momentum, momentum builds success. So those are the three things. If you can't consistently do something, then it doesn't matter how many reps or how many sets or how many days or how many steps, doesn't matter.
So
consistency true. To build momentum, to then build success. And when you look at training in general, we're not talking about like working out, right? There's two types of people that love to work out, burn calories, show up no matter what the workout is, God bless you, love you. And then there's people like, I want to train. Like I have a very specific goal and I need to be on lockdown. So now we're talking different reps, different sets, different schemes, different whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So rule of thumb in the world of training and phase is this. Anytime you're just starting out, number one, create endurance and strength. So now you're talking 30 to 60 second moves. Just create the ability to move.
Mm.
That's number one, because there's two things that need to happen there. One, you need to become familiar with movement patterns that you're going to do when you strength train. Because just throwing somebody be like, you're going to do like a row and you're like, and do it at 70 pounds. You've been doing, they're like, well, wait a minute. Two things aren't happening. You're not familiar with the move and your central nervous system is not familiar with being able to do that move at the intensity you're going to be required to do it at.
Mm-hmm.
So very first phase, which phases tend to be like 6 weeks, endurance, and we're looking at, hey, how do we create endurance strength? We start 30 seconds at a move. We progress it at week 3 and maybe week 5 to maybe 45 seconds, maybe 60 seconds. Or we do it for more sets. Instead of doing 2 sets, we do 3 sets at week 3 at 30 seconds. So that's the first piece. The second piece is to create strength. The strength is going to be somewhere where you're like, okay, I really want to create, I'm familiar with the moves. I'm familiar with, my central nervous system feels great. And now I want to create some overall strength so that I can begin to build muscle, because that's what's going to burn fat, right?
Yeah.
Muscle is smaller, fat is bigger. I want to be a little bit harder, smaller, and I don't want to be quite as squishy and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at that, we're like, okay, it depends on the move. It depends on the sets, but we want to build our strength. So 3 sets, 3 to 5 sets, 3 to 6 sets. And again, we're going to progress that. Maybe we start at 3 sets and we're either going to do something in the lines of maybe 3 by 6, 3 by 8, 3 by 10. And then in week 3 and on week 5, we're going to go to 4 sets and we're going to go to, and then we're going to up the reps.
So for my beginners, Mike, when you say 3 by 10, can you?
Oh, I'm sorry. It would be 3 sets.
Okay.
By 10 reps.
Okay.
With a very distinct rest period. I think that's what a lot of things happen is like, when you are getting into this intensity, and you're upping your intensity, your rest periods count. Like if you can't lift the same amount of weight that you could 30 seconds from now, it's a problem. And, you'll hear a lot of trainers be like, oh, just go down and weight. Huh? Like, so you want me, and you want me to lift less, do less reps and less weight to achieve the result? No. I need more rest. So phase 1, endurance, speed. That's another thing in phase 1. I want to make sure you're also doing it slower, quicker. In phase 1, building endurance. Phase 2, we're looking at 3 to 5 sets, lower reps between 5 to 10-ish. And then if you want to go, and then when you get into, the next phase of really building, you're looking at even lower reps and, because you've now become really familiar with the moves and you're like, oh, hey, now I'm going to lift heavy.
Yeah. So,
really, and the heavy phase, let me just say this, the heavy phase is where you're going to see the muscle growth.
Yeah.
Because you got strength growth and then you have muscle growth.
There's a
and
big
if you don't have the strength to move that muscle, like to build that muscle, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So doing 3 sets of 10 over and 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 over again, it's not going to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to build muscle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say this to everyone that's out there listening. Think of it this way. If you're at your house and you're lifting your chair, your lounger, right? You're like, oh, 3 sets of 10. It's so cool. I'm doing it. And you're like, oh, you know what I could do is I could get stronger by putting a pillow on there or the cat, right? You're like, I'm not getting any more results. Would you think, and I'm just going to throw this to everybody out there, let Melissa know, do you think that you would get stronger and have a better body if you turned and looked at the couch and said, I can't lift that for 10, but I sure as heck can lift it for 5?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift that for 5, have a bigger rest period and go through that phase. And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to look at that couch or that chair again.
Mhm.
Instead of putting pillows on it, I'm going to put my husband on it because I can lift more for 10.
Yeah.
That's the process.
And that's stress. I mean, that's, what we're looking for is that stress. So your body adapts, for sure. And that's something that it's taken me, gosh, I don't know, I maybe it's 6-7 years of trying to lift heavy. And in the beginning, I thought heavy was 10-15 pounds. And then I did get to the point that I thought 15-20 was heavy. And now I'm really trying to, for almost anything except for, my little tiny shoulders, trying to not grab anything that's less than 20. And because learning from you and studying that, you do want to build muscle, hypertrophy. I want every muscle except for maybe my obliques and my calves to grow, and I'll tell you, as a 49-year-old woman, this last year, I've been able to take off, an additional 10 pounds. I think a lot of it has to do with different lifestyles and just really being active throughout the day. You and I are both huge walkers, and the walking, I really think, has kept me very lean. But being 49, not having that 20-year-old skin anymore, I noticed that losing that 10 pounds has, enabled my skin to be what I feel is looser. What's the best way to fix that? To build some muscle, to fill that space up. And I'm only going to do that by really challenging myself, like you say, and making sure that those last couple of reps are incredibly difficult. Or let me ask you, Mike, do I go, like, say, for instance, you're in that strength phase and you're doing 5 sets of 10. At that 10th one, am I almost can't do it? Or do I just feel a burn? Where do I feel at that 10th rep?
I would say when you're starting to talk about intensity of a workout is that if it's 3 workouts or 5 by 5, whatever the workouts are, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever the set configuration is, let's use 3 for that, for the instance, right? So your first 2 sets, you've got 2 in the tank. So you could do 2 more with your first 2 sets. We call it, it's a saying in training, leave 2 in the tank. So you're still able to push, but that third one should be none in the tank. It should just be like, yeah, I really don't have 2 in the tank. I'm at 1 in the tank. Because remember, as you're learning that, you're going to increase the 4th set at some point. And you're like, whoa, how am I going to be able to lift 4 if I don't have 2 in it? So I'm progressively getting stronger. I'm progressively putting, more stress on my muscle to build muscle over time, which is then going to, continue, which is going to build your muscle.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people are like, oh, I just need to go exhaust. If you went to exhaustion on set 1, how much rest do you really need to be able to do that same weight for 10?
A lot.
Probably, instead of 30 seconds, you might need 90 seconds. And a lot of people, when they're trying to burn fat, they forget about the intensity factor.
Yes.
Right? So everyone's like, oh, volume needs to go up. Well, we also got trapped in this. As volume goes up, we take more rest. And as we take more rest, our intensity drops.
Yeah.
So being like, hey, I'm in this for 10 reps. I got 30 seconds. I need to bring that intensity right back up because it's there. And then 30 seconds and my intensity is right back there. Not, I had no gas after the first set and I'm going to need 2 minutes.
Yeah.
No glycogen, no nothing, no, our energy systems are taxed. Our central nervous system is taxed, and again, a symbiotic relationship between your protein intake.
Yeah.
I want to keep sneaking that back in because I can lift with as many reps and sets and sprint and do all kinds of power moves. If I don't have a nutrition plan that backs that up, I'm cannibalizing all of my efforts in 23 other hours of the day.
Yeah. Yep.
So the 23 that I want to consider to be intense, I mean, the 60 minutes that I consider to be intense, I've now cannibalized because I have failed in 23 other hours of the day.
Yep. And when you came to visit Mick and I, and we did our workout together,
Whoops.
yeah, Melissa was sore like she hasn't been for a long time. And when we were doing the workout, I told you, I'm like, this feels great. I did feel very energized. I didn't feel overworked. But you're talking about this brother-sister relationship of fitness and nutrition. For me, with nutrition, I cannot preach enough lately because I'm seeing so many of my clients, and they mean well, and it's a good step one of trying to eat cleaner, but they're eating a lot of the same foods. And we need a lot more variety in our diet in order to especially keep that gut healthy. I feel like fitness is the same way. The exercises that you had me do are not, there were a couple, that were pretty routine, but you had me do things that I certainly don't do on a daily basis. So how much do you feel a variety or changing it up? How important is that for seeing results? Are you ready to learn the secret behind how I continue to be so healthy? Well, it all comes down to science. If you've been listening to my show for a while now, you may have heard me mention something called the MAID diet. Yes, that's right, because I'm so passionate about how learning about the effects that nutrition has on the human body, I always seek to learn as much as I can and apply that knowledge. One of my best learning tools has been self-experimentation. And now in my late 40s, I have to say, I've done a pretty good job. It's hard to find trustworthy, even accurate information in this country. Between the influence of big corporations with monetary agendas, the nutrition labels designed to deceive, and downright misleading information that you were taught in school, navigating food and nutrition with your optimum health in mind can be quite challenging. Take the food pyramid, for example. In an ideal world, I'm sure we would all love to eat pasta and baguettes for every meal, but that's simply not what's best for our bodies, our health, and our longevity. Now, I spent years developing the MAID diet in a way that I wish someone had taught me, and I break it all down in my MAID diet course. People are always asking me what I eat, so we start there. What I eat in a day and which foods are the most beneficial. So think something in between the Mediterranean and the paleo diet. It's a lifestyle plan that incorporates moderate protein, adequate fat, decreased carbs, and an introduction to intermittent fasting. But please, I want you to keep in mind, just because I say decrease carbs, I don't mean decrease carbs in what your body needs. I just mean decrease carbs in what the standard American diet has become. You still get plenty of quality carbohydrates, just not in the mass amounts we have been eating to get us into such an unhealthy state. And of course, we're going to talk about what foods to avoid because that's just as important. We even talk about how to eat healthy on the go because let's face it, we're busy and that's just life. And then there's intermittent fasting. I share all of my favorite tips and tricks, and a lot of science are along the way. I could not say enough good things about intermittent fasting, and I'm honestly so surprised more people are doing it. You'll also learn how I've learned to balance my hormones and feel my best because so many women struggle with this. And lastly, we cover the mindset behind making a change because we all know that your mindset is the key to your success in anything that you do. So if you are struggling with diet in terms of feeling your best, or you are ready to take your health to the next level, I strongly recommend you check out this course. Now, the course is structured in 5 modules, 16 lessons, and a whole lot of research to back everything up. So I want you to visit my website, themaiddiet.com or melissamaid.com, and you will see a tab for the course. Click on that to get access today and learn why you should be eating this way too.
Okay, there's 2 sides to that. There's officially 2 sides to that. And I knew you were going to ask me this question. First off, let me just say this. I want everybody to move. My goal is to move more. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it does to get your butt off of the couch so that you become a healthier, better person. I don't care if it's Taibo combined with yoga, while, walking the dog. If that's your jam, move on it. If that starts you into the gateway of health and fitness, I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I also understand that I want to track data. I want to see my progressive overload. I want to see that I'm getting stronger. I want to be able to see that I'm adding in a new set. I want to see that I'm adding in more volume to create more muscle. So for me, if you gave me a 6 weeks phase in general, I'm probably going to do the same workout, the same 6 workouts, the same 6 moves for 6 weeks. And I'm going to progress them in weeks 3 and 5.
Okay. Okay.
That's me, because I'm very clear that those 6 weeks have a very clear goal. If that's my training phase.
Okay.
Now, if I'm a person that doesn't have a very particular training phase, and I just need to show up, and if boring is what's going to hurt me, I also have to understand this. Yeah, I could still do a bunch of workouts. I can still do different stuff. I can still do chest on chest day and back on back day, and do the splits that I want to be able to do. Splits are the way you combine exercises. So I could still do those types of things to show up, to burn calories, to make sure that I could eat healthy. However, if I have a particular goal in mind, that goal is going to take longer to reach.
Yeah. I
So
really
when
like
you see a workout that happens on a Monday and you don't see that same workout in something that, let's take your favorite trainer, right? Like, and they're like, oh yeah, this is chest and back today, or whatever it may be, right? And they don't show you that same workout for 14 days later.
Yeah.
There's no trackable data for you to progress that and use any progressive overload in order for you to get stronger, to grow the muscle, to get your goals. But did they get you to show up? Darn right they did. And I would take that 14 days of you showing up than you quitting and not showing up, because a workout not done is the worst workout. I think that's a mind pump thing, is a workout not done is the worst workout.
Yeah. And I really like how you highlight, because audience, can you see yourself? I am the person that gets bored easy. And so just to have that variety is most important to me, versus the person that says, it's really important to me to set a goal and to reach for that goal and to see, that positive change in 14 days, 21 days, 30 days. So it's very bio-individual, I guess that you've got to figure out what gets you to show up every single day. And if it's that goal in the future, or if it's the fact that you're doing something different every day and keeping you from feeling that boredom, then that's what you need to do.
Right. I mean, I would say too, just quickly, and then you can ask me more questions. It's like me coming to you, right? I'm a different type of person. Hey, Melissa, I need to lose 10 pounds. I need to shed this type. Where should my nutrition be at? What should I be taking as a supplement? At that place, I'm a much different person than, hey, I've been sitting on the couch for a long time, Melissa, and I just need, I need to lose 40 pounds. And I haven't been good to myself. I find it very difficult for me to walk upstairs or carry my kid on my hip for more than 5 minutes. Those are just 2 different styles of people that need to be dealt with differently. And unfortunately, that's the greatness of health and fitness, because there's so many options out there, but it's also the crux to people, the pain pleasure. Like, I don't want to be able to do it. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. It's like, well, what do you, I don't care what you want to do. I care about your goals.
Right.
So that's always a question when dealing with somebody's health and fitness, and what are you willing to do to get to them?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I have a million questions for you. So, I want to kind of rapid fire a few at you if possible. It's
no more than 3 sentences as an answer. How about that? Let's go.
It's going to be impossible, because this first you're going to be like, I can't answer that in 3 sentences. But how important is cardio?
Heart health is extremely important. I mean, the fact that anyone that would ignore their cardiovascular, their heart health, and the ability for your blood to pump throughout your body is absolutely insane. So is it important? Yes. Depending on your goals, I don't know. If somebody who wants to get bigger, stronger, faster, you're going to have to, or bigger and stronger, you're probably going to have to cut back on your cardio. If you're somebody that's, running a race and, doing it, like you're going to have to do more cardio. But in general, your heart health is just like your bicep health, just like your lower body, just like anything else. Do I think you need to do it? Do I think you need to stress your heart? 100%. And if you're going to ignore it, just know that there is a risk involved.
Absolutely. And even your lung health, they always say your number one predictor of how long you'll live is your lung health. And so obviously the cardio is not only good for your heart, but your lungs.
And look at that yin yang, right? Like there are certain foods that are good for heart healthy. So you've got to do them both. Like,
Yeah.
why would you do just workouts and not do your food? Why would you just food and not do your workouts?
Mm-hmm.
They've got to symbiotically live together underneath the same roof because they are siblings, and they've got to have a relationship back and forth.
So I just this morning talking about the opposition that you on I mean, Mike and I were even talking politics before this. The opposition on everything, especially through social media, is just mind blowing. Just this morning, I had one expert say that cardio is the best fat burning tool there is, and another expert had like a tweet post that said cardio is the worst. They said it was great for the heart, but yeah, Max is the worst fat burning tool out there. So what is your opinion on cardio for fat loss?
I think there's a combination. Again, I'll keep saying it, like, I don't mean to beat the drum, but,
Yeah.
I think that cardio needs to exist
Mm-hmm.
with strength training.
Yeah.
And I think there's a misconception. Quickly, I'll say this misconception with cardio. Cardio doesn't mean run.
Yeah.
Cardio doesn't mean jumping jacks. Cardio means the heart elevates, right? The cardio means is that you are in a different training zone. So there's different training zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and all those are different training zones. Can you walk at a zone 2? Yeah. Can you walk at a zone 3? Yeah, totally, 100%. So do I think it's the worst? I think it's the worst when you seesaw, again, brother, sister. If you just want to live on that side, I don't think it's good. If you just want to live on that side, I don't think it's good. I hate being a middle person, but the fact that you don't have muscle or heart health, you're fooling yourself to think that you're a healthy person.
Yeah.
There's just no way. And again, your heart health will increase depending on the intensity you train at with strength training. Your heart health will, it doesn't mean you got to be on a treadmill.
Yeah.
So people are like, I don't want to jump, don't want to run. I didn't do my Kegels during my pregnancy, and, I can't do jumping jacks. I don't want to do like all the fun stuff. Right? You're like, that's not cardio. Cardio is actually looking at your device and seeing where your heart rate is for a specific period of time.
Mike, and I just, knowing my audience, I know there was just a huge sigh of relief, because it is just common knowledge. When you hear the word cardio, I mean, you almost go to the hit side of it. You're thinking Shaun T style workouts, insanity, and nobody wants to do that. I mean, you might be very disciplined and be able to trudge your way through an insanity workout, but nobody enjoys that. And that's what we think cardio. So for you to say that is incredibly profound. And I know gives people a huge sigh of relief that I can enjoy a walk up a hill, or I can enjoy a faster paced walk. And that can be my cardio and exceptionally good for both my heart and my lungs.
I know not a lot of people like to do data. I know it, but there are a group of people that track. I mean, a device that allows you to look at your heart rate, or just the fact to be like, hey, if you are new to this, and when I mean this cardio, that's not running, then just be like, hey, I'm going to walk at a fast pace for 10 seconds. Then I'm going to up it to 20, or I'm just, just do intervals, like walk higher and do a 2-to-1 ratio. That's the best thing that I can give you. So a 2-to-1 ratio means the 1 is the workload, the 2 is the rest. So double the amount of your workload in rest.
Okay.
So if it's 10 seconds work, it's 20 seconds rest. And when I mean rest, it's bring the heart rate back down. You're walking at that shuffle pace, and you're taking pictures of birds, you're feeding the cows, you're doing the thing, but then you're like, I'm going to walk, I'm going to pick up the pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll quickly say this too, is if we want a result, we've got to focus on the result that we want while we're doing the exercise that we want. That we're currently doing. So if you want a bigger chest, focus on the chest. If you want a better heart, focus on the heart.
I love that.
There's a lot of people that think right now showing up, the participation trophy of health is going to help. It's going to help to a certain level, but it's not probably going to get them to your goals, because people that are coming to you, that are paying you a fee, that have goals, that are very clear on their vision and want something, and are sitting in pain at home saying, I'm not happy with the way that I look when I get out of the shower. No matter what it is I do, I'm in pain. Those are the people that want a plan. Those are the people that need to look at their heart rate. Those are the people that need to focus on what they want just for that period of time, not for 24 hours a day.
Very true.
So if you're listening, I would just say this: move, focus, like really, like it's okay. Like don't overwhelm yourself.
Mike, I've said this a million times now, and I always tease being an entrepreneur and a businesswoman. If I could monetize on walking, I wish I could, because it's free. It is something that can be so enjoyable, whether, I've here lately, I've just been listening to comedians, just laughing and walking, or nothing at all, or I'll catch up on a podcast, but it is so good for you. And I think that we get to the point that, forget where I was going with that now. But I do think that get more than just that workout. I think I was holding on to a little bit of extra weight, and I know some people probably rolling their eyes at that. I've always been in great shape, but I felt like I had to really kind of be super restrictive with what I ate. And I was like, it's so weird to me because, I do my workouts every morning, but I really didn't realize how much I was sitting for the rest of the day. And just that change of adding about an hour of walking a day, whether it's 30 minutes in the morning and in the evening, or an hour in the morning, it varied. It could be 3 20-minute walks, but I had a step goal and pretty much a time goal, how much weight my body had let off because of that. So I think that you guys could be in my boat, where you're like, I'm doing all the things. And this is kind of where I'm hoping Mike will tap into for a second mindset. I'm doing all the things. And I hear this all the time, and I can't lose weight, or I can't, reach my goals. And number one, it's like, well, what are all the things? Because there's always something missing. And so you've really got to self-reflect. You've got to be real with yourself, and you have to, truly be willing to take yourself out of the comfort zone where you are now, that it feels like you're doing everything, but it's obviously not working for you. And hiring, a mentor, or committing to do things like walking more or lifting heavier, whatever it is, tracking your nutrition to start seeing results. So Mike, when you have, and I know you get this a lot too, people coming to you baffled, because they're like, I'm eating clean. I'm doing my workouts, and I'm not seeing the scale budge. My clothes don't fit any different. It must be my hormones. It must be.
I love that one.
It must be genetics.
Thyroid too. It's my thyroid. Why not? I don't know anybody who hasn't gone and done a blood test that their thyroid is enough. Don't know a single soul. I feel so sorry for those people who had thyroid issues. I really do, because I know that is a mountain to climb. But the fact that every doctor out there tells you have a thyroid problem is beside me. It's your thyroid. Oh, I know. So let me first say this. I'll give the quick story of one. I've been talking to a friend of mine who is a very, very wealthy software guy, like wealthy, like it's sick wealthy, like just bought a house next door and knocked it down at millions. And he no longer takes any calls unless he's walking. He's up to 15 miles a day walking. Like we've been laughing about it. He's like, dude, you should see I'm sending you a picture. He's up to 15 miles walking.
It's crazy.
So that's the first thing. And the second thing that I wanted to talk about was, you said you got these people that come to you. I have people that come to me. I've got clients that come to me all the time. I'm doing everything. And, the minute that happens with any health and fitness professional, the eyebrow raises, right? It's like, who are you now? Do tell. You're like, and I think it goes back to what we talked about in the beginning, right? Like the 40% body fat to the 35 to 35 to the 30. So what happens in that particular position is when you say that to me and I go, okay, you need a very particular, more stringent plan, because you are already there. You're not in the cutback phase. You're in the restriction phase. And I know people are like, no restriction. That's what it is, people. You have to restrict your behavior of what you were doing. You're not in a cutback phase, because your goals are like, I need to lose 4 pounds. Well, you know what those 4 pounds? It's restricting sugar. It's not cutting back sugar.
Yeah.
So depending on where that person is, which phase that they're in, their plan has to become more detailed.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people are like, well, I'm in the 18 percentile body fat. great percent, right? But I still feel like I have 10 pounds. Well, how detailed is your plan at 18? Because the details from 18 to 15 is a jump.
Yeah.
It is a jump.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the jump from 40 to 35 or 35 to 30, because, those were, not quite as detailed, but you taught yourself the patterns that, hey, I can do new patterns and I can get more detailed as I go, because I'm falling back on what I was doing at 20 to 25%. What behaviors and details need to change from 20 to 15?
Yeah. And they do.
And that's all for me is what it really comes down to. It's not like, oh, I'm changing. And a lot of times, I said, what can you cut back on? Why aren't you eating? Like, what are you afraid of calories for? Protein synthesis, relationship, brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
I can only train you so well if you're not eating. How do I make a muscle grow if you don't eat your protein or
So
you don't
true.
have calorie intake?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in restriction in that capacity, but I don't believe restriction's a bad word.
Me neither.
Because restriction, we'll just rename it, right? And be cool. Got to be
Yeah.
more detailed.
More detail. I like that.
I live in details.
Yeah.
No, you live in restriction. And it
Yeah.
only becomes restriction if you still want it.
Yeah.
Right? Because listen, I used to drink way more often than I do now. Like, I don't even drink at home. Like, I don't even care. Like, it's because I gave up that behavior because I wanted to feel and I wanted to perform and I wanted to be a different person. I wanted my health. I wanted my blood numbers. I wanted so many other things. And I wanted better relationships with my friends. So I cut back my drinking. And I'm like, and then I cut it back. And then I got detailed about it. And I restricted it. And now it's like, whatever I got. Like, that was my goal. And now I no longer feel restricted because I don't want it. Like, I'm not forced back. Oh, you want to drink? If I don't want it, I don't want it.
That's a great mindset.
So that's where I live it. What else you got? Rapid. Let's go.
Okay. Cardio or weights first?
Whew. Well, if you want to build strength and you want to build muscle, you want to lift before you do cardio, because you will cannibalize your ability to lift, because you will blow through your glycogen levels, AKA your energy sources, and you will not be able to lift as much. Therefore, you won't be able to get as strong. Therefore, you will not be able to build as much muscle as you want. So go right ahead, do your lifting, then do your cardio.
Okay. Love that. Instead of asking you how often should I work out, what are your thoughts on resting?
I think that rest is just as important as the lift, as important as the cardio. A body at rest is a body at recover. It's probably, I don't know the numbers, so don't ask me the research papers, but it's like 2 times the rate of your recovery on your rest, when you're sleeping. So really concentrate on your sleep. I know everyone's like, oh, a tracker. Yeah. Data is king. I don't
Really?
do not become like obsessed with your data, but become aware. And then as you want to accelerate your performance, become detailed.
Yeah. Now you still using your Whoop?
I am. I have a Whoop and and then now I have my new Garmin, and my Garmin gives me a sleep tracker too.
Cool. So a review on those two? You really like them?
So the Whoop is the best for sleep. I don't really do much more than that, and it's small. I like my Garmin because of the community. I'm able to do things with my friends, and we're like, oh, I beat you in your sleep. Like, that community, I think, is a big piece of health and fitness.
Yeah.
And I love my Garmin watch. I mean, I'm not,
Yeah.
I've never been a big watch guy. I like the athletic style of my Garmin. So
Yeah.
I think the Garmin is great. I think it's probably it's more of a watch than most people need. So I wouldn't spend the money on it. I think most people's Apple are probably great. I think that the Whoop is great for sleep. I think the Whoop is great for, generalities. I don't think it's the detailed type of situation. And I like it instead of, I know you wear the ring, the Oura ring.
Yeah.
And the reason I don't wear the Oura ring, this is, again, I don't hate on you, Oura, love you. I can't work out with it on.
Yeah. It's inconvenient.
It'll rip your finger off if you're, hanging on things or doing whatnot. So
Yeah.
Great piece of material. You just can't wear it during a workout.
Yeah. Or you can, and it's scratched all to hell and back. And,
Yep.
but it's funny you say that too, because I just recently discovered that you can build a community with the Oura ring. And so Kelly, my chaos coordinator, I can see her heart rate variability, her readiness, and her sleep score. And I love that. And she can see mine. So there's that, and she'll send me cute little like hearts and flowers and stuff. If it's good. I really think that's cool, that community aspect of these wearables, that you can, challenge people, and you can congratulate people, or you can pick them up if they're like, I just can't seem to get a good night's sleep. It's like, well, let me help you. How can we improve? Which you and I, again, when you were in combo, we had so much fun comparing sleep and
so mad you were beating me every time.
The things that we do that make a difference in our sleep habits, including drinking, including staying up late, including eating late. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, is the myth that you can't eat after, you can't eat late in the evening, or you can't eat after a certain time. Do these people not watch their sleep? There's not a person that I know that if they eat a late meal or a snack, that it disrupts their sleep. It's fact. And
Simple.
Every once in a while, of course, enjoy your late night date night with your girlfriends or your spouse or your partner. But every night, trying to get your calories in, or, thinking that you need that protein right before you go to sleep is disruptive of your sleep. And if you want to disrupt your sleep because you want that casein,
absolutely stupid. I'll say it. Because your body, here's the thing. I can say it really quickly. I watch when I drink, and it's crazy. My heart rate goes, when I'm sleeping. It's nuts. Like I'll go from a 85% sleep on my Whoop to like a 46 or a 60. Mm-hmm. And my heart rate is like, other times it's like almost like I passed out, like dead. It's like a flat line with maybe a small spike. Maybe I was dreaming about something, and it was like and that's that's a big thing. If you get me to eat within 2 hours before I go to bed, what I noticed is my stomach, my digestion kicks on, right? So think about this. Your body's an internal factory, right? And I worked at Kodak. I worked in a factory, and I understand shift work. A shift, which was 6 to 2. B shift was 2 to midnight. C shift was midnight to 6 a.m., right? Somewhere in that way. I don't need a 24-hour factory in there working. I need some shutdown to get some rest.
Right.
And when you bring in all those deliveries and have to unload trucks and do all that stuff at night when you're supposed to be getting rest to come in, it's not happening. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
That's why you're tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, you guys, if you liked part 1, you are going to love part 2 coming next week with Mr. Mike Karpenko, as we really kind of rapid fire some questions, the questions that you guys are always asking me about fitness. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week. Wow, we've reached the end. But before I leave you, I'd love to hear from you. After all, it's not every day that someone reaches out and asks for your opinion. And to me, your opinion does matter. So please share this episode with anyone that you think needs to hear this message. And remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. My name is Melissa McAllister. And until next time, thank you for being your own health advocate.